Sehzaad, Poonawala, just very quickly to pick up from the point that was made about this budget, about budgets normally having some shadow of the election. Last time was on the eve of Delhi elections. There was a major tax break given, particularly for the lower middle classes, many of whom felt that they weren't getting enough out of budgets. Do you believe that that shadow still exists this time? Or will it be the vision statement that we are told that will dominate this budget?
First of all, good morning to both Rajdeep and Maria and the other people who have to come on a Sunday. And new tradition also in this way, that first budget from Kartavya Bhavan, from Atmanirbhar Bharat Bhavan. So now, having said that, Rajdeep, just before I come to your question, 10 seconds on something I heard before you were addressing with Sanjay ji, that why budgets are not open. Rajdeep, like me, you have studied law. We both didn't practice law, but you have studied constitution. Article 112 mandates that budget can have to be placed only before parliament, before it is put in the public domain. So it is constitutional the duty of any government that it cannot make the budget public, even if it has no issues on secrecy, because this is our parliamentary and constitutional obligation to first place it before parliament, and only then the budget can be made public. So just for your clarification, viewers' clarification also. Secondly, Rajdeep, the worst thing, the most important thing that people accuse us is कि ये मोदी को देखो, ये मोदी जी जो है ना, ये good politics को good economics बना दिए हैं. हमने GST, when we got in GST 2017, Gujarat elections were around the corner. Every political analyst said कि मत लाना GST. मोदी जी was the person who said मुझे चिंता नहीं वोट की, ये मेरे देश के लिए one tax one nation लाना है. उन्होंने लाया. We suffered little bit in Gujarat elections, but despite that we have bought that reform. And today, Rajdeep, I want to give you something that will be the key word of today's budget. It will be Gita. You will say, अरे इसमें भी हिंदू मुस्लिम कर दिया पूनावाला ने. Gita means G for growth, I for infrastructure, T for technology, and A for Atmanirbhar Bharat. Highest growing large economy in the world. We have gone from 11th position. Sorry?
Interesting. It will be, Sehzaad, Poonawala, I've always said that if you can come up with these acronyms all the time, you will go very far in politics, because this government likes acronyms. But we will keep that in mind. Gita is what you said.
But
Rahul Ahluwalia. Okay, just a minute. We've got limited time today. We've got limited time today. I'll give you 10 seconds more. Keep it at 10.
At least let me elaborate on my Gita. See, we are already registering highest growth. We have pushed in great capital expenditure in the last 10-11 years. Infrastructure pe boost hai. We have now made technology accessible to the public, digital delivery of services and goods. And 1 lakh crore rupees बेचते तो 1 lakh crore rupees जाता है. 85% is not being eaten up. And Atmanirbharta can be seen the manner in which our defense exports, our mobile phone exports have increased. And we are at lowest NPA, lowest inflation rates. And therefore, this gives us more room to boost the consumption, private consumption also, expenditure in infrastructure also. And despite the global headwinds, we are seeing it as an opportunity.
The finance minister will be briefing the spokespersons around 1:30, but Sehzaad seems to be prepared much before that briefing that will be done by the finance minister.
One of the key, of course, aspects is for all the talking up of the economy, there are certain concerns. Private investment continues not to pick up. Rahul Ahluwalia, your founder, director of Foundation for Economic Development, former Niti Aayog, should that be a concern for whatever has been done or not done in the last few years? Post-COVID, private investment has simply not picked up.
That's a great question, Rajdeep, and it's exactly what I wanted to talk about. So thank you. In fact, that's the big story of the last 5 to 6 years, right? The big concern has been private investment has not picked up. Our diagnosis is that private investment is not picking up in India because we are not globally competitive. If you think about manufacturing scale, if you look at the one big success story that India has had is Apple manufacturing iPhones in India. India is only 2% of Apple's global market. The only reason they are manufacturing iPhones in India is because they can export them to the rest of the world. We have to achieve this kind of competitiveness in every other sector. The investment not picking up is a signal that public capex and public investment in infrastructure is not the answer. So what is the answer? And I think the government is on the right track, and you've been mentioning it yourself on your show. Deregulation is the answer. Ease of doing business is the answer. A globally competitive business climate is the answer. So that's the big picture that we should be looking for from this budget. Deregulation, I just, one last point I'll make is it comes in two flavors. One is you have to reduce the obstacles. The other is you have to increase the certainty and the stability. And both of these things are really more signals that you can expect from a budget. Concretely, I think tariff is the one big thing that we should expect. Tariff rationalization and tariff lowering is something that I'm really looking forward to, at least in the budget.
Okay.
ਨਖਰੇ ਜੇ ਕਰਨਾ ਤੂੰ ਹੋਰਾਂ ਉੱਤੇ ਮਰਨਾ ਤੂੰ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਖੜਿਆ ਜਾ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਤੋਂ ਡਰਨਾ ਸੁਣੇ ਤੇਰੇ ਕੰਨ ਵਿਲੋ ਸੁਣੇ ਤੇਰੇ ਪੈਰ ਸੁਣੇ ਰਹਿਣ ਨਹੀਂ ਉਹ ਦੇਣੇ ਚੱਲ ਮਿੱਤਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਸ਼ਹਿਰ ਅੰਬਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਚੰਨ ਨਾਲ ਲਾਈਏ ਬਿਲੋ ਯਾਰੀਆਂ ਤੇ ਤਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰੀਏ ਬੈਤਾਂ ਰਕਾਨੇ ਬੜੇ ਯਾਰ ਨੇ ਕਮਾ ਲਿਆ ਜਾ ਪਿਆਰ ਦੀ ਕੋਈ ਨਵੀਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂਆਤ ਕਰੀਏ ਬੈਤਾਂ ਰਕਾਨੇ ਬੜੇ ਯਾਰ ਨੇ ਕਮਾ ਲਿਆ ਜਾ ਪਿਆਰ ਦੀ ਕੋਈ ਨਵੀਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂਆਤ ਕਰੀਏ ਤੇਰੇ ਹੋਰਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕਿਤੇ ਦੇਖੀ ਕੋਈ ਪੰਗਾ ਨਾ ਕਰਾਂ ਦੀ ਲੜੇ ਨੂੰ ਹੋਣਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਯਕੀਨ ਅੱਖਾਂ ਸੱਚੇ ਦਿਲੋਂ ਸੋਹਣੀਏ ਮੈਂ ਸੋਚ ਲਈ ਤਰੀਕ ਵੀ ਵਿਆਹ ਦੀ ਲੜੇ ਐਤਕੀ ਨਵੰਬਰ ਨੂੰ ਲਈਏ ਲਾਵਾਂ ਚਾਰ ਬਿਲੋਂ ਦੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਪਿੰਡ ਨੂੰ ਬਰਾਤ ਕਰੀਏ ਬੈਤਾਂ ਰਕਾਨੇ ਬੜੇ ਯਾਰ ਨੇ ਕਮਾ ਲਿਆ ਜਾ ਪਿਆਰ ਦੀ ਕੋਈ ਨਵੀਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂਆਤ ਕਰੀਏ ਬੈਤਾਂ ਰਕਾਨੇ ਬੜੇ ਯਾਰ ਨੇ ਕਮਾ ਲਿਆ ਜਾ ਪਿਆਰ ਦੀ ਕੋਈ ਨਵੀਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂਆਤ ਕਰੀਏ ਮੋਟੀ ਮੋਟੀ ਅੱਖ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੁਰਮਾ ਬਰੂਦ ਪੂਰਾ ਪੱਟ ਦਾ ਖਰੂਦ ਸਾਡੇ ਦਿਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੋਹਣੀਏ ਮਹੀਨਾ ਕੀ ਸੀ ਦਿਨ ਕੀ ਸੀ ਕਿਹੜੀ ਸੀ ਤਰੀਕ ਜਦੋਂ ਆਈ ਸੀ ਤੂੰ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਤੇ ਦੱਸੀ ਪੱਟ ਹੋਣੀਏ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਦੇਖ ਮੱਚਦੇ ਆ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਮਚਾ ਕੇ ਰਕਾਨੇ ਜਮਾ ਰਾਖ ਕਰੀਏ ਬੈਤਾਂ ਰਕਾਨੇ ਬੜੇ ਯਾਰ ਨੇ ਕਮਾ ਲਿਆ ਜਾ ਪਿਆਰ ਦੀ ਕੋਈ ਨਵੀਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂਆਤ ਕਰੀਏ ਬੈਤਾਂ ਰਕਾਨੇ ਬੜੇ ਯਾਰ ਨੇ ਕਮਾ ਲਿਆ ਜਾ ਪਿਆਰ ਦੀ ਕੋਈ ਨਵੀਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂਆਤ ਕਰੀਏ ਤੇਰੇ ਮੁਖ ਦਾ ਮੈਂ ਫੈਸਲਾ ਰਕਾਨੇ ਕਦੇ ਮਾੜਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਉਹ ਚੁੱਕਦਾ ਮੈਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਬਰਾੜ ਕੰਮ ਕਰੂ ਆਰ ਪਾਰ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੀ ਬਣਾਉਣਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਕਹੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਉਹ ਰੁਕਦਾ ਮੈਂ ਭੇਜ ਤੇਰੇ ਮਾਪਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਅਰਜੀ ਕੋਈ ਤੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਹੱਕ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਪਣੇ ਹਾਲਾਤ ਕਰੀਏ ਬੈਤਾਂ ਰਕਾਨੇ ਬੜੇ ਯਾਰ ਨੇ ਕਮਾ ਲਿਆ ਜਾ ਪਿਆਰ ਦੀ ਕੋਈ ਨਵੀਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂਆਤ ਕਰੀਏ ਬੈਤਾਂ ਰਕਾਨੇ ਬੜੇ ਯਾਰ ਨੇ ਕਮਾ ਲਿਆ ਜਾ ਪਿਆਰ ਦੀ ਕੋਈ ਨਵੀਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂਆਤ ਕਰੀਏ ਬੈਤਾਂ ਰਕਾਨੇ ਬੜੇ ਯਾਰ ਨੇ ਕਮਾ ਲਿਆ ਜਾ ਪਿਆਰ ਦੀ ਕੋਈ ਨਵੀਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂਆਤ ਕਰੀਏ